welcome to another episode of Redline Nation. In today's episode, we're going to be getting the block of the engine prepped and ready for reassembly. So let's get into it. Right, so as you can see, the engine's been stripped, the block cleaned up, all painted, gloss black, heat resistant paint obviously. It's all looking nice. I am getting hold of some new core plugs soon to replace them because a couple of them had rotted through. So now we're getting the balls honed up and the block fleece cleaned because it's getting a bit problem with it sitting because it's bare steel. It'll just start to rust immediately. So as soon as I've done this, it'll get coated with some oil just to protect it, stop it rusting, and then obviously I'll be putting a bin bag over it to stop anything getting in where I don't want it to be. But these are the pistons. I've already cleaned them up and polished them. They're all cleaned up now. All the ring lands all clean. The shells in this are actually in really good condition, so I'm not going to bother replace them. I'm just going to clean them up, make sure everything's lubricated before it goes back together. So I have got quite a lot done. So the head is completely done, ready for reassembly. All the valves are clean and they've all been seated as well. So as soon as I have valve stem seals, I can get the valves put in. Then the head's ready to go back on the engine when it's done. So that's all that. So let's get into a time lapse and get this block ready to do the piston rings next. Right, so it's another day. The deck's all done, all the balls are done. So now we're ready to do the ring gaps. So as your top piston ring, that's your second piston ring. I've got two measures, so I've got them in millimeters and in inches. So we will start with the second piston ring. So it's a bit difficult to do one-handed, but you want to be careful not to break them because they can be fragile. If you want to get it in, just push it down a bit, trying to keep it as level as you can. Then you want to grab your piston and use this to level your piston ring in your bore. Alright, so you want to go past, you want to try and get it past, it's about there, so you definitely got far enough in the bore. Then get some feeler gauges and look at your measurements. Now you can get measurements from Haynes manuals, things like that. Haynes manual is probably the best, or your preferred manual, because the values are going to be correct. Also, looking online is okay, but obviously some people will give wrong information, which isn't ideal when you're doing stuff like this. So you want to make sure that wherever you're getting your measurements from, they are trustworthy. So on there, you'll see measurement in inches, and then next to it is a measurement in millimeters. So we want, for second piston, 0.350 to 0.520 or 0.0138 to 0.0205 in inches. We can find that on here. So let's see. What I tend to do is just go for the biggest one to start with, because if it's bigger than the maximum millimeters, let's go inches a second, 0.20, that one, so that's 0.020 there. So this is basically, if it's bigger than this, then obviously the bores are, the circumference of the bores are wider than what we want, which isn't ideal, in which case you'd have to measure it and get oversized piston rings, or depending on how bad it is, you'd have to then get it bored and honed again to a bigger size and run bigger pistons. But because we're trying to do this on a budget for now, we're just gonna try and do it without spending so much money. Now that, with the feeler gauge in the gap in the rings there, that is exactly where it needs to be. So with these, you want it to be a good tight fit, but not, you don't want to be ramming it in. It wants to just a bit of a jiggle, just go in. Then you want it to grab ever so slightly when you're pulling it up and down. If it's grabbing it, but it doesn't take a lot of force to pull it up and down, then that is, yeah, that's the size. So that is just within tolerance, luckily. So the tolerance, so if we go for the millimeters. So that is 0.506, and we got 520. So we're within tolerance, which is good. So now we check that, we're happy with the tolerance. Take it out carefully, and then that can be fitted to the piston ring, or the piston. So I'm going to put that aside, and now we're going to check the top ring. And it's the exact same process. Obviously the measurement's slightly different, but the process and measuring it and whatnot is exactly the same. So it's very difficult one-handed. 1 second. So that's in there, nice and level. So now we want let's go with, try and find 0.085 of an inch. Not 0.18. So that 0.018. So that should be the maximum. There's a little bit so that doesn't fit. Nope. So now we want to go slightly smaller. So that's an 18, so we want to go 17. And that fits with a little bit of grab. So that is well within tolerance, which is perfect. Now you can do this with the oiling rings. I've never bothered really. Yeah, I've never bothered. Never had an issue with them. But it's important to do it with these because, especially if you're going from an NA engine to a turbo application, the combustion chambers will get hotter. So if you can imagine this, when it's attached to the piston and in the bore, you've got obviously your clearance, which you've measured. When this gets hot, it'll expand, and if the tolerances are too tight, it'll touch. And then what will happen is a piece of your piston, so your piston rings are in here. If it touches, what can happen is it can basically just shatter your piston. So it'll take a chunk out your piston, and then obviously that'll just, obviously the piston's going up and down in the bore and whatnot, it'll batter it and it'll write your head off. You could write your block as well off because there's so much damage, and obviously your piston and so on and so forth. It's not great. Plus, what can happen is if it breaks your skirt or anything like that and your rod becomes detached from your piston, obviously you got your rod slapping around, that could go through the block and then it's game over. So all the others have been done, they're all within tolerance. So for the sake of this, probably took me half an hour to do. For the sake of half an hour now, is the difference between your engine lasting and not lasting, basically. So now that we've done that, what we got to do now is clean, give the block a final clean off, clean any debris off. So we got to get any junk off the crank journals there, and obviously clean all the bores down, clean the block down, and then we can get our pistons back in the engine. So, time for another time lapse. Let's get to it.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away. You're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away. Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray.
And then we are all back together. All spins nice and free. So next job will be, I've got the oil pump to do, which taken apart now. The other parts in the parts washing now, and start getting the head done and finished. Then get the gasket kit so I can put the head back on, and also get the sump finished off. So I'm building a baffled sump, so I just need to make a box now to weld to there, then modify the pickup. I've got a weld on a -10 bulkhead fitting, well, weld on fitting to there for the oil drain for the turbo. Paint this up, paint the sump up, and then bolt it to the engine. Oh yeah, and I need to get new core plugs as well, which I'll be ordering later on. But yeah, quite happy with it. So that'll be it for this episode. Getting there slowly, but yeah, fingers crossed by sort of mid next year we'll be looking at starting this, hopefully, possibly, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But until next time, thanks for watching.